Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a special episode of Living in Fear. My name is Luis,
Nemia?
and we're all living in fear.
Yeah.
So, this is a bonus episode where we will be talking about The Last of Us, Season 2, Episode 6, called The Price.
Mm-hmm.
I am really excited to talk about this episode. Is there anything we want to get into before we get started?
As usual, spoilers for the show, spoilers for the game up to where it is on the show. We're not going to be spoiling ahead of the show, but we'll be comparing as always.
Mm-hmm. We will definitely compare the scenes from the game and the show that happened in this episode, but yeah, we won't be talking about any future events.
Yep.
So let's get right into it. Season 2, Episode 6, The Price. Mia,
Mm-hmm.
what did you think of this episode? Give me some high level thoughts.
High level thoughts.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know that I can do that. I really liked it. I don't think that comes as a surprise. I think you and I were both looking forward to this episode because as soon as they showed Joel at the end of the last episode, we're like, it's going to be a flashback episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that the last episode, like had a lot of good things going for it, but I think it's also like one of the episodes where I was like, I don't know, some of this Ellie stuff just isn't working for me.
Mm-hmm.
And in this episode, it worked for me so well, and I just don't know if that's like my bias towards Joel and Ellie as a pair, or if it's something about Bella just being even better whenever Pedro Pascal is around. They just really have this good, not just like chemistry, but like maybe this good like scene partner type work that they just elevate each other's acting performances. And I don't know, but yeah, this episode really worked for me. What did you think?
I want to say this episode is probably my favorite so far.
Out of both seasons?
Yeah, I want to say, yeah, out of both seasons.
Yeah. It felt very true to the games, just like the whole like there's a lot that's like one-on-one, like straight from the games, but they changed like certain things too, and but it's just the feel of it
Mm-hmm.
is like what you get from the games and like the thing that you love about the games. And I yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy that the quieter moments, the less actiony moments, are the ones that are the best episodes.
Yeah.
You know, even in season one, I also think that when the characters are having good dialogue and just really emotional scenes, I think
That's what this is all about, you
mhm,
know?
that's those are the best episodes, which is kind of strange. You would want, I guess you do want some of the action to be great as well, which it is, but I don't know.
It's never been about the action for
Yeah.
me. It's cool when they do it and they do it right. And I think, the whole like town battle scene was like pretty cool. I think they did it right and stuff, but that's not like what I'm here for at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's just bonus if they do it. It's like cool.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so let's get into the episode. So we actually get this new scene with teenage kid Joel and
Yeah, it was
Tommy.
really interesting.
Yeah, that is a completely new scene from the game, or that's not in the game. Yeah, what did you think about this new edition. Remember, this is directed. Well, I don't know if it's written by Neil Druckmann, but it is directed by Neil Druckmann, who's the creator of the game.
I think writers it does like Craig Mazin, Neil Druckmann, and then what's her name? Sorry, Haley, the girl that wrote the second game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like they're all kind of like credited. Um, was there any mention of like Joel's history or anything at any point, or like Tommy's? Because I feel like why did it seem so familiar? Not like the whole scene, but something about like Joel's dad like hitting him or like.
I mean, yeah, I think it might have been mentioned either in the show or in the game, even.
Yeah, I just can't remember exactly where, but it did seem vaguely familiar. But yeah, it was kind of cool to see. Sometimes I don't always like getting all that backstory, or I don't know. I guess something in life is like sometimes hurt people, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So you kind of get that. But you also have so many people that have been hurt by their parents or something that don't go on to hurt their kids, or, you know. And obviously Joel doesn't like hit Ellie or hurt her like that. So you have that. But there's like this whole thing like with like, this is totally unrelated. But in Halloween, when Rob Zombie did it, he kind of gave a background to Michael Myers and how he came from like a really abusive like household and stuff. And some people just really didn't like it because it's like, no, he's just. I don't need that backstory. He's supposed to just be this like crazy evil villain. You don't need to like humanize him or whatever. But so sometimes I'm like, not every character that does something bad needs to have come from a really bad upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, sometimes people do. That is kind of why they are the way they are. It's the ways that they were raised. And Joel doesn't seem. He does some bad things. He doesn't feel like a bad person. And maybe that's just because we're biased towards Joel.
Yeah.
And his dad, even, it seems like his dad did bad things. He hit them, but not as bad as his dad hit him. And it seems like he is trying to improve and was trying to break this cycle, but even he fell into it. And so now it's like, did Joel fall into that too? Joel sure thinks so, it seems like, based on some of his comments to Ellie, that he hopes Ellie, you know, does better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I feel like with Ellie, I think with as far as like children go, like with Sarah and with Ellie, I think he did better. He was patient, he was understanding, even when Ellie was like, you know,
Yeah.
acting out or trying to like move out. He just like took a breath, calmed down, and then was like, wait until the morning, give me some time, I'll set it up for you if that's what you want. Like, so I do think he broke that cycle. But in other aspects of his life, he definitely was a little harsh.
Yeah. Yeah. He, especially with, I mean, he is a liar. I feel like he.
I mean, so is she, right?
Yeah. He just falls into this like lying thing.
Like it comes so easily for him.
Yeah. You know, especially how Eugene ended up dying. And I mean, I don't know, at the end of the day, he's not, like you said, he's not a bad person. He's just maybe a tough person. And I don't like, I don't know, by today's standards, he is an amazing dad, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of kids out there have terrible dads.
Yeah.
And you know, Joel is not one of them.
Yeah.
You know, he is bad in his own way, but not I feel like he's a really good dad. And that's that's basically the crux of this whole thing is well, let's get into some of the later scenes, because I do believe this first scene really ties it all together, and all the like beginning scenes have been really well made throughout this whole season, and
Yeah,
tying it all very nicely to the entire episode.
yeah. That's I haven't really. Obviously, that's true. I just haven't thought about it in that way. But that's good observation.
So all right, so we get this first birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So in the game, all of these scenes, all the first birthday, the second birthday, the third birthday, the patrol scene, the dance, even the talk at the end at the porch with Ellie and Joel. That those are all spread out throughout the game, so they're told via flashbacks, and some of them are at the end of the game, some of them are at the beginning, some of them are in the middle. So they're
Yeah, it was
just
interesting to see them all at once.
so we get them all at once, and I think it all worked really well, but since we did get them all at once, I think a lot of it was cut. And as someone that loves the game, and I, we missed so much in that museum scene.
Yeah, right. Like
Um,
that could have been like a full episode in itself.
yeah, but at the end of the day, you know, you're I keep saying casual viewer, but people who haven't played the games, I feel like they're just gonna love this. Like they don't, I think they're gonna get what they need to get out of all this. Nothing's gonna feel off.
No, but I guess having come from like the first season where there's a whole episode devoted to Bill and Frank, like I did almost expect there to be a whole episode just based on the museum day,
Mm-hmm.
because I think they like could have done that, but I don't think that it's bad that they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think they really did touch on the key moments of it. I don't think you need every other thing with it, but yeah, I don't know. I'd like an extended episode with more of it. But yeah, I liked this episode. I think it was really interesting the way they did it. I'm a little curious in later on how it affects the rest of this part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, some of that you definitely get towards the end of the game. So I'm interested to see how the emotional impact
Mm-hmm.
of it later on, having it now instead of then.
Yeah.
Like, will the ending still hit
Mm-hmm.
in a similar way? Or I don't know. I'm very curious. And they kind of because they didn't show her going to the hospital and learning.
Yeah.
They instead put that tied in with the porch scene.
Mm-hmm.
Her asking the questions and confronting him about how he like lied about it.
Yeah, that is one major change. In the game, she goes back to the hospital on her own, which is, I guess in hindsight, it's kind of unbelievable that she made it all out.
It is one of those things where you kind of like wonder. You're like, so she went all the way back there by herself and went through all this, and then because like it doesn't feel like it's that long. It feels like she just like left somewhere for a couple hours, but it would be a long distance.
Mm-hmm.
But we get Joel crying a lot in this.
Yeah,
that's a big change. How did you feel about that?
I really loved that porch scene.
Yeah.
I think in some ways it was actually better than
Yeah.
the game, because I feel like we don't often see Ellie's guilt,
Hmm.
this survivor's guilt that she has. It's not like out there in the open. You just kind of have to read in between the lines when it comes to the game, and I feel like some people miss that. But here, I like it that she straight up just like you see it, and it shows you that she has this immense guilt over surviving and the rest of the world perishing for
I
what.
mean, she's had her survivor guilt comes from her and what was the girl's name? And the what is it, Left Behind thing or
Oh, I can't remember.
oh gosh, we should know her name. I have to
Uh,
look this up so I can speak on it well enough.
yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, her first girlfriend
Left
in the mall,
Behind. Riley.
Riley.
Yeah, I need to know that. Um, that's where her survivor's guilt comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Because Riley died and she survived, even though they were both bitten and everything. So like she racks up even more from things like Joel killing literally all those people just so she could survive. Now it's like Riley died, she feels responsible, and then all these people die because Joel kills them so she can live, but also now all these people in the whole world are possibly gonna die
Mm-hmm.
because he did that too.
Yeah.
So she, a lot of people she feels like are in a worse scenario because of her.
And she's seeing these people get infected and
Yeah.
not, and them and turning, and like, you get that line in the game where she goes, if only they were immune, right? And yeah, I thought she was gonna say it here, but when Eugene got bit, but she didn't. But
And I
yeah,
think that go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say I think that explains some of her recklessness
Mm-hmm.
is because, yeah, she's immune so she can get bit and be fine, but also if she gets hurt in another way, she just kind of doesn't care. Because it's like, well, I should be dead already. I should be infected. All these times I get bitten, it should kill me like it does everyone else. So, like, who cares? Like, she just kind of has that attitude.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of new scenes. I kind of really love the scene where Joel busts in the room and Ellie's making out with her girlfriend.
Yeah.
Such a
She gets tattooed.
teenage dad moment. What does he say? Man, you're doing the whole teenage thing all at once, or
It was great, though. Yeah. He's like,
drugs,
what was it?
tattoo.
Using sex.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Yes, it's really great to see all these new scenes.
Yeah. I mean, it's also like, like he never really, I feel like Sarah was still pretty young when she died, so he never dealt with the whole teenager thing. And I feel like they say that in the beginning when Ellie's like mad at him. But you get to see it a little more in this, like Ellie acting out and him like not necessarily knowing how to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just like, and kids, especially teenagers, say some really messed up stuff to their parents. I know I did. Like, but you like know she's gonna say it at some point, like the "you're not my dad,"
Mm-hmm.
and she'll say it, but she won't necessarily mean it. And it might be true, but it's not, if she wasn't like just acting out, she would like never want to say something like that to hurt Joel.
Mm-hmm.
But you also know it's like coming at some point. And you're like, don't say the thing, Ellie. Don't say it. For all intents and purposes, he is your dad. Like, but yeah.
Well, she does say it on patrol, right? I'm not your fucking kid. I'm
Yeah.
your partner or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
I mean, in that
Which is
scenario,
it's a little different, but
it's a
still.
little different. Yeah. Because it is kind of like right now, I'm not your kid. I'm supposed to be your partner right now in this. When we're on patrol, we're not father daughter, we're partners. But she also kind of says it,
Mm-hmm.
meaning it in the mean way.
Yeah.
And he also kind of picks up on it, kind of in the, mean way.
How did you like Joel's rendition of Future Days?
It was a little Johnny Cash like speaking, singing.
Yeah, yeah.
um, but yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was a good moment.
And now people know why she was playing
Yeah.
that at the theater.
Yeah. Um,
I like the whole. Again, the quieter moments are the best because just him building the guitar
mm,
was so cool to see.
yeah.
And then, like, even in. Like, you can tell how much he loves this kid just by this, just preparing these entire birthdays. Making a
You can also,
guitar
yeah.
and engraving it with this moth thing that she loves so much.
Yeah, he really did make each birthday special. But you can also see how much of an influence he has on her with like her whole room, all these like vinyl records and like posters and stuff, like all things that like, he probably showed her and introduced her to all these things.
Mm-hmm.
So they are very much a part of each other.
Yeah.
If you were like in the museum part, he gives her a rock to break the glass so she can get a helmet.
Mm-hmm.
If you were in like an apocalyptic type setting thing like this, and you were living in a safe place or whatever, would you keep one of those helmets? Would you take it back to Jackson with you?
Yeah, probably.
Because you're super into space stuff.
Yeah.
So like that would be a cool area for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I don't know, space stuff is like kind of cool to me, but I don't think I care about it like that much. Like it's not a big passion of mine like it is yours. So like maybe if it was like somewhere else or something else, I would be like, ooh, I want to keep this, like
Well, what about
some
it?
Egyptian artifact
Yeah,
or something.
would you keep a dinosaur bone?
I mean, here's the thing about dinosaur bones. I feel like they're the coolest when they're just all together. You're not going to be able to take a whole like set of dinosaur bones and put it back together somewhere else.
But it's just a cool thing to have if ever campfire and you're talking about stuff and it's like, hey, that I brought my dinosaur bone and nobody believes you, but
Nah, I think I'd want something Egyptian. That would be my museum take. But you're kind of like, like where you're like, I don't know, should I leave this here so that anybody else that comes through can like see this great thing too? Or is it like, nah, I kind of want to just keep this for myself. There's enough to go around. Somebody else is going to just take it.
Yeah. Nobody. That window is always going to stay broken now.
Yep. What's done is done. What did you think about the whole moth thing?
Yeah, the moth thing. I guess in the game we don't really know why she's into it, right? I can't remember if there is like stuff in her journals that you can read.
Yeah, I don't know if it necessarily says. I know there's like pictures of moths and stuff, but I don't know.
There could be something. Yeah, there could be something supplemental in the journals.
Yeah.
But I do like the scene where he goes to the therapist and asks about the moths. I feel like those scenes are really funny. The ones with her,
Yeah.
with Catherine O'Hara. But yeah, so what it means death.
That's what she said. So he said he thought it meant like what?
Growth and
Change
yeah,
and growth and stuff. And she's like, that's a butterfly.
yeah.
And he's like, well, what's a moth then? And she's like, death. And she doesn't elaborate or anything. It's just like death. And you're like, great, wonderful. But that's a lot of this, season is about death. So I'm okay with that. And I think a lot of my attachment to the second game is based on grief and loss I've felt and seeing it, like, seeing grief hit so hard in like a game. Because I feel like so often, like, they show loss or grief in movies and shows as just like, they show it so quick and people getting over things quick, even though that they don't, but they just kind of make light of it. Whereas, like, this game really went dark and I don't know. Obviously, I can't relate to the exact things that they're going through, but just
Mm-hmm.
that feeling. So if I ever get a tattoo, maybe it'll be a moth death related thing. But I don't know how true that even is. That it's just like just death.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's more.
Yeah, it could probably mean a bunch of things.
Yeah, but it was just funny how like she said it, but also like of course that's what she said to Joel because she doesn't particularly like Joel, and we finally learn why.
Well, he also probably took that too close to heart and was like, "Oh no, she's into some death stuff. She's in
I mean, I
trouble."
do think there's there's some similarity, right, between the moths and like fireflies, like in the game. They show the fireflies like going towards like light and everything, and moths always go towards light, right? So, and obviously fireflies, the group plays a very important part of the story.
Yeah,
What does she see when they're leaving the museum?
I don't know.
Is it just fireflies that she sees, or what is it?
Oh, it might have been fireflies.
I think it was fireflies. And I think that's kind of bringing up. I think it's always there under the surface,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that she knows he lied about something. And I think when it first happened, she knew he lied, but she wasn't exactly sure about what. And she was just still like reeling with everything that happened. And then she slowly, over time, over the years, like puts more and more together and questions more things. And I think she realizes what happened and how bad it actually was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Marlene was an important person to her. And the fact that Joel killed Marlene is a huge deal. And the fact that he lied about all of it and everything, and he went to such extremes. Yeah. You see a different side of Joel in this episode, too. You see a very vulnerable side of him, but you also see that side that's willing to do whatever and really does some like messed up stuff.
Okay, so the Eugene scene.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was actually that bad that he shot
Okay.
him. I feel like it was going to be much worse. But at the end of the day, I don't think he was going to make it.
But
Back.
you don't think they should have given him that chance?
I mean,
I mean, how
maybe,
much of
but
a
you invite.
threat?
Go ahead.
How much of a threat would he have really been?
I mean, I don't know. They're unpredictable, right? You never know.
But they would have been able to tie him up and everything.
Yeah.
Ellie's immune. Like,
So why did he do it then? Why didn't he just give him the chance? Tie
I
him
don't know.
up, secure him really well. If he turns, then we kill him. But maybe he makes it all the way to Jackson.
I mean, is it because they do have a like policy? They do have guidelines that they follow, and it is to not, bring infected back.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's hard to follow through, Joel is the type that can do those tough decisions because he does have that like side of him that can turn off the emotions and be like, no, this is what needs to be done. This is the practical thing. No ifs, ands, or buts. We kill him now. But then there's also like the side, like you could make the argument, say he makes it back in time, but now his wife has to see him turn into an infected.
Yeah.
Like, is that harder on her? I don't think that's his reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be someone else's reasoning. Like, maybe that would be like my reasoning or something. I can be quite a practical person as well. But yeah, and maybe he was like, now he's not going to have enough time. Maybe he really did know that and was just like, no, we're done. But obviously, he's not going to do it in front of Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no other way to get her to go away without just lying. But he did cross a line by looking her in the eye and promising.
Yeah, again.
He could have just given her a very strict order. Like, I am in charge. You're on patrol with me. You do what I say. Go get the horses. And, like, made it very stern. And I think she probably would have done it. But the fact that he looked her in the eyes and volunteered to say, I promise, is where he definitely, like, crossed the line with her.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't know what's going through Joel's mind at that point. At that point, I don't know his reasoning for doing what he did. Because he could have easily just, from what it looked like, it seemed like Eugene had already turned when he said, "Oh, I do see her face," or was on the brink of turning. So even if they didn't make it back, like if they tried to keep him alive and he turned midway and then Joel shot him, like I don't know why he still lied
I mean, maybe
to
he
the
didn't want
Catherine O'Hara.
Ellie. Oh, why he lied to her?
Yeah, why did he lie to Catherine O'Hara when he could have easily just said, he was turning, we needed to put him down. It wasn't. What did he say? Because he lied about who actually shot, and he said, "Oh no, he killed himself. He did it himself."
He was trying to give him a heroic death. But he was also trying to avoid any blame.
Okay.
So it's
So,
like, you tell a loved one, like, oh, they died in this heroic way. They send their love. They were the ones that pulled the trigger. They knew it needed to happen because that would comfort her if it was true. And you can kind of see that.
mhm.
You can see that she's upset, but also understanding. But then the second she learns the truth, she's not okay anymore.
Yeah, it's Joel. Okay, so it's Joel again trying to lie lie for other people's sake. That makes any sense?
Yeah, he kind of,
Like his lies do make sense, and I get why he does it, but in the end they also kind of backfire,
yeah.
especially with Ellie yet again with this new lie.
She's just kind of seeing, like, yeah, this is what you do. You put yourself first or what you want first before these other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was good to see all that. Everything tied so neatly, even that scene.
It's kind of interesting though that, like, like they have that guy from what's his name? What's the actor's name in The Matrix? Eugene.
I don't
They
know.
have them in it just to, like, in such a small part,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like everybody talked to, oh, this guy's playing it, he's gonna be in it, and it's like just the smallest like part ever. I mean, he does a great job with the small part, but it's just kind of like funny.
Okay, so in the final porch scene, so did you cry in this episode, Mia?
No, um, I think he did a really good job. I don't know that it really. Hmm. I liked that they were both crying.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't know if I just feel a little discombobulated based off, like, I don't know if it's just the way it's like all shot, and so I don't know exactly what emotionally she was feeling in that moment, like when she comes to the porch. Because I feel like in the game, it made more sense that she was coming and she was like so mad at him, but she also wanted to forgive him. Versus this, like, you see her acting a lot more like a brat to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see her being a lot more mean to him throughout. But I don't see that, like, moment where it's like, yeah, I'm so freaking pissed off at him, but also, like, I love him and I want to work through this. I don't feel like I felt that, and I don't know if it's just because this is at a different time. Maybe if it was happening in chronological order or something, but it just felt like she should still just be pissed off at him, especially since this is the moment where they have that talk about what happened at the hospital, versus in the game that's at a different time, so she's already had time to kind of work through that. I don't feel like she really had the time.
She has had time though.
But she hadn't confronted him yet. In the game, she confronts him in the hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's time between that and the porch scene.
There's
But
time.
here,
Yeah.
she's questioning it. She's like going through it all in her head, and I get that. But this is the first time she like confronts him about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like,
Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
and there's just he's done more stuff. He did the Eugene thing, whereas like the game, that's not a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like she just saw him do something even more horrible, and
Yeah.
I don't get the feeling that she was going to the porch because she was like wanting to work through it with him. Like that's what they're saying, and that's why she walks over there ultimately, but I just don't get that emotional like roller coaster. I'm not on that same track with her. But I think that's kind of what bugs me about it. And I
Yeah.
think
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think in the game where it is just really emotionally wrecked me, where the scene takes place, and then also I think oddly the fact that like Joel doesn't ever fully cry in the game, but you see him start to choke up. And that is like a big part of what got me as well. Is when he just like he doesn't full on cry, he just starts to get choked up and you're like, "Oh my gosh, Joel of all people, he's getting choked up, like I can't hold it together anymore." And I liked that we get this other side of him. I like seeing the Pedro version of like Joel actually like really crying
He cries a lot.
cuz he cries a lot.
In all of the first season and in this season.
And in that one meme where he's like laughing and then crying or something. um no, he does a good job, and I think, you know, it's nice to see a man crying and feeling his feelings, and you actually see like how hard this has all been for him. And I think that's something that's beautiful that we get from the show, that like he's been hurting for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It you know was hard for him to do what he did at the hospital, but he did it for her, and then lying was even harder. And knowing that if she found out, she would hate him for it. But he did it because he loved her, and he would do it again, and he says that, you know. But yeah, it didn't choke me up like the game did. What about you?
Yeah, I really loved this scene. I think it worked for me. I teared up when he said "because I love you,"
Yeah.
which is a line we don't get in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he never says "I love you" to Ellie in the game.
Yeah, in the game there's a lot where they like don't say certain things. Like you know that it's there and you know that they do love each other and stuff, but like they're not as out in the open with it.
Mm-hmm. So they did in this version of this story, they actually did get to have a really nice moment where they worked everything out before he died.
I mean, she still wasn't at the I full on forgive you. She said, I want to forgive you. But that's what I mean. I feel like, yeah, this was a little more them working through it versus like the game.
Which I don't mind that, you know?
Even though this felt more, yeah, this is kind of like they had their like climax of emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they hit that versus like the game, it felt like so much was still left like unsaid, sort of.
Well, in the game, it's really tragic that they're just barely trying to fix this relationship, and that's when he dies.
Yes.
But it feels more closed in this
That's,
one.
yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
So I don't know if it's worse. What's more tragic, that they finally mended their relationship, or that they were beginning to mend their relationship, and then Joel dies?
I think the fact that they were beginning to,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Like that feels more sad the way it was left off. And because
I guess it does feel more of Ellie's motivations in this revenge story.
yeah,
That's why she's so angry and really will do anything to avenge Joel, including torturing this girl that, as we saw in the last episode.
this kind of feels like they both were able to like lay everything out, put all their cards on the table, show how upset they both were.
Yeah.
And it just felt like the beginning of like making up. But in the other one it really felt like this feels like they kind of made up already.
Yeah.
Versus the game, it feels like it's the start of them making up.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like a lot of the same words were said. Something about the over the top emotion and them both being so open and honest versus the game, you just still see fighting the emotions and trying to keep it together and still kind of like defeated.
Mm-hmm.
But then he gets that glimmer of hope that she will forgive him. But he's still so like hurt. And I guess maybe because you don't see him fully cry and everything, you don't see him fully, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a different interpretation of Joel.
Yeah. It's just weird. I don't know. I guess I just can't vocalize it correctly.
I mean, I think it's fine. I think I really like this.
Yeah. No, I think
and
it's
the scene.
yeah. I think it was beautiful. It's different. I'm not mad about it. I just wonder about the end of the story and how that'll kind of change based on this being here now, but yeah. And I think they both did so well in that scene. I think Bella did well in this whole episode. This is like the Bella version of Ellie that I love.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just makes me wonder, like, you know, like I said, like, is it just something about them and Pedro together, or is it just the fact that like they were still a little bit younger in this, or I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see, I guess, with next week's episode, which should be fun, or next season with more, but yeah.
Yeah, we're going back to the theater.
Yeah.
I kind
of
Go ahead.
I kind of didn't fully like the cut because I don't know.
I thought we would get a little more.
I wanted them to do it differently because I feel like it feels a little disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they had like shown Ellie walking away from Nora, who's like beat horribly, or like there was just a little bit of a disconnect for the fact that like she just tortured Nora brutally to get some information. Like I'm going to compare it to the game when she comes back to the theater in the game, like she looks like messed up. Mm-hmm. It's like, Ellie, are you okay? You good? Like you don't look okay. And I don't feel like I had that same feel, or like even have like, I don't know, a cut of a dead Joel or something, like,
or a dead Nora
back. Well, yeah, that's what I meant. But like, that's what I almost kind of wanted them to have, like walking away from like a dead Nora who's like beaten horribly or something, just to really hit home again what she just did.
Yeah, it
Because yeah, it
was.
just
I thought it was a little strange too.
yeah,
Yeah, it seemed very horror vibes. Thunder and it's really
yeah.
dark.
But like she didn't like I don't know.
Like it made it
She
seem
looks
like
pretty clean.
yeah, it just made it seem like we know where she's going. We know where the theater is. Like it made it seem like oh, it's a big reveal that she's going back to the. Oh, I don't know. Maybe for a casual viewer, that might be a big surprise. But I don't feel like it was a surprise that she was going to go back there.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
But
But yeah,
yeah,
I'm excited for the next episode.
yeah, I agree. It's I don't know how it's going to end. I mean, I have some ideas of where this next episode's going to end. I feel like they have a tough job of cramming a lot into it, but I don't know. At the end of the day, the game only has so many cutscenes and a lot of gameplay.
I mean, they're turning each day into an episode.
Yeah,
So
so
it's not unheard of to be able to do that in an hour-long episode to turn one day. Cuz like, how many other shows turn, weeks or months into one episode?
yeah, yeah. Oh man, yeah. I can't wait. I won't say anymore. I really can't wait for that final scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they're gonna actually show more. Like you know how
Yeah.
we get in the game, like we get that same scene towards the end of the game, but I feel like they're just gonna show all of it in this
Maybe.
episode.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I'm excited for it. I'm bummed that it's the season finale.
Yeah, only 7 episodes.
Yeah, what the heck, man?
I
It's all
wonder
going
if
too
I
fast.
wonder if we'll get 7 more for season 3.
I feel like, yeah, right?
Like we won't get will we get less or more?
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. All
I don't
right.
know.
Anything else that you want to say about this episode as a whole, or any scenes that we missed? Any scenes that we didn't talk about,
Um,
maybe?
is there anything we didn't talk about?
I don't think so.
We know Seth was a police officer.
Oh yeah, dude, Seth is getting a lot of screen time.
Yeah, we got a little bit more. What's Tommy's wife's name? Maria.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that actress. I think it's Rutina Wesley. I think that's her name from True Blood. She like had to do all kinds of like crazy stuff in True Blood. So I'm like, I kind of wish we got like more of her in this show too.
I didn't like that she was so obsessed with what's his face
What?
in True Blood. She was so obsessed with
Eggs?
that.
Eggs?
She was obsessed with Suki's brother, right?
Oh, Jason Stackhouse.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moved on though. She was in the beginning, yeah.
Hmm.
And then she moved on to Eggs. And then she moved
Wait,
on to
who's
Franklin
eggs?
Benedict. His name was Benedict, so they called him Eggs. He's in the second season, her boyfriend in the second season.
I don't remember. It's been a long time.
And I'll tell you later. All right. I think we hit everything. Oh, they had two of them in the opening sequence again, right? Had Joel and Ellie again.
Yeah, they did. In the two shadows or the two silhouettes.
Yeah.
That was kind of nice. We'll never. Well, I don't know. we'll see what happens with that
Yeah.
intro.
Yeah. I think, you know, I'm really interested to watch this whole season through once and then rewatch it and see how all the beats hit now that you've seen it all. And we've, know the story well enough, but it still is different in the way that they're doing it here, so it'll be interesting to go back and watch it and see how we feel overall.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think any of these actors are going to get nominations for like an Emmy or something?
Um, I don't know. I think if anything was going to get them a nomination, it would be this episode, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I think both Pedro and Bella in this episode on that porch scene alone really did some great acting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested to see what the Bella haters say about this.
I think they will get nominations, at least. Well, I don't know. They might.
I mean,
they both might get one, but I don't think they'll win.
I did say how, and I think everybody, even the people that like hate the show or something, can all agree that the set design is incredible.
Yeah.
The museum, the like spaceship and everything, like wow. We're always blown away at how many things look just like they do in the game. It's incredible.
Oh yeah, if the sets people don't get nominations or win something, yeah, this something's wrong with the world.
Yeah.
Because those sets are amazing.
Oh, and I wanted to mention how spoiled these people are in Jackson. The part where Joel goes to talk to Gail while she's like sitting in a restaurant eating breakfast.
Yeah, I know.
She's sitting there reading a book, eating eggs and bacon and like pancakes and stuff, like a normal, like you would be able to do in the normal world. But they're dealing with infected and stuff, but they have like such this like nice little sheltered life within Jackson. Like Joel has a whole house. Ellie has a room there. She's able to like move out into the garage and stuff. Like they're still dealing with horrible stuff, but I'd imagine there's other people in this world dealing with far worse. And it's just like crazy. They have little league games and things like that. It's just like y'all have it so good. I mean, not always, as we see when there was a whole battle there, but you also see why, like, they're fighting to keep it. Yeah. Why they are willing to, battle this horde to protect Jackson, and why they all go on patrol and are so careful about everything. And I think they do know how lucky they are. So yeah, that's my little side note.
Well, like I said, this is probably my favorite episode of the entire series as a whole.
I think we knew it was going to be going in.
Yeah, and in the game, even I say this a lot, in the game, even the haters of the game really love these scenes.
Yes.
Anything with Joel and Ellie, they love.
Yeah.
And for a good reason, they in the game they have great chemistry, and it's a really great relationship, and here it is too. But there's other characters, that we'll see later on, and I think that part, people don't like as much. So I'm wondering how people who haven't played the games are gonna connect.
Yep.
With these new characters.
Yep. And I'm excited I have another coworker that has not played the games but is watching the show, so I have someone else to see how they feel about it. It's fun to meet people and talk to people that don't know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And just get their like unbiased opinion. So yeah. Cool. Next week should be fun.
Yes.
I'm excited for it.
Me too. All right, we're gonna head out. Telly's getting a little restless, so
During their time.
yep. All
Dinner,
right.
dinner.
Goodbye, everybody. Till next week.